But honestly, I think for me, the biggest motivations are I found reasons to run. Like I found many, many, many reasons to run. If weight loss is someone's goal, that's good. Whatever gets you going, do it. But it's no longer a goal for me. The J-Lo ship has sailed, the Beyonce ship, like all those ships have sailed. And those are not my reasons for running. I think mental wellness is a big one. There is enough evidence out there that shows that being physically active, and not just running, being physically active is good for your mental health.
Welcome to Life as We See It podcast with A&A, where we bring you organic, inspiring, authentic, and relatable stories about life, faith, relationships, and social issues. If you're a first-time viewer, please press the subscribe button. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you. We appreciate all your support. Today, we have a very, should I say important guest? She probably doesn't want to be described that way. We have a very dear friend of mine and ours that is here with us on this podcast. And I just want to say thank you to her for coming here, because I know she's a busy person, she's a mom, and she's many other things, but I would let her introduce herself. And before I go there, as usual, we have
Zuki.
Zuki, welcome. You're always looking beautiful.
You too.
Now to our guest, please introduce yourself. Tell us everything about you.
Are you sure you want to hear everything about me?
Okay, not really, but whatever you choose to share.
Hello, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Ifeoma Muoto, and I come from Nigeria. I was born and raised there. I come from what many would describe just your average middle class family in Nigeria. Between my parents, they had 8 kids. All my brothers are older. I have 3 older brothers, and I am the middle of 5 girls, who I'm really proud to say are my closest and my best friends. I feel very fortunate in that regard. Started off, in Nigeria as a physical therapist, and moved to the United States about 16 years ago. Got married, moved to the US, and went back to school, switched careers, and pursued public health. And right now I do work in community health, in social health, and work on facilitating relationships between your traditional healthcare systems and, organizations that provide food, housing, and all these social supports that are important to be healthy, but you don't find in your traditional doctor's office. So that's my day job, and I'm blessed to live here in Portland with my husband and 2 kids, and just excited to be joining you all. I think just a little bit about me. I love to sing.
Yes.
Opportunity to.
She has the best voice ever.
I don't know about best voice, but I really enjoy it, and I feel very fortunate to do that. I'm pretty often at church, and I also love to run, and I love fitness as well. So thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Yes, thank you for that introduction.
So let's go straight to the podcast. So I was talking to Ifeoma. I was talking to you a couple of weeks ago, and you were talking about your fitness journey. And I know, like, we're Nigerians, and fitness is not something that came natural to us in terms of our culture. So what led to your fitness journey? What was it about fitness that did you grow up doing that? Did your parents model that for you?
Great question. I didn't grow up being fit or necessarily following any models. What got me into fitness originally was my insecurity around my weight and body image. I struggled with just serious insecurity throughout secondary school. And, towards the end of secondary school and the first couple years of college, I added quite a bit of weight, probably between 30-40 pounds, and was just very insecure about it. I think as a physical therapy student, I learned about exercise and I believed in what exercise could do. And I decided to try it. And so that was really my introduction into fitness. It was, I need to lose weight. I was worried about my body image. I mean, my reasons for fitness have evolved significantly since then. But that was really what got me started.
So did you start in Nigeria? Okay, you said secondary school. So that was in Nigeria.
Yes. So I started in college. I must have been in my second or third year of college.
And so you said you added a couple of pounds. Was it someone maybe making you aware of that, shaming you, or was it just you?
I think it was both. It was more than a couple pounds. I added quite a few pounds. And I think it was both. Like I said, I was always aware. And you know how it is. You're comparing. Everybody else looks beautiful. Yes. You feel you're the only one who has you have the worst figure. You have so much weight. And then there's also commentary. And back home in Nigeria, my experience, people are more generous with their commentary.
People will tell you are FAT.
I remember someone once, and this is one that sticks in my mind, and someone called me. He's like, "Oh, look at your arms, power Mike."
Oh no.
And it was just that, wow, I don't want to be this person. So a lot of it was really insecurity.
Wow, that's good. I mean, you did something about it. You didn't just internalize it, but you went out to change it. So how was it then? Because I know in that climb back home, Nigeria, many years, I mean, now everyone is fit farm, everyone is exercise. You see them running on Third Mainland Bridge, Echo Bridge. But back then, many years ago, it wasn't popular. It wasn't, how.
Yeah, it really wasn't popular. I remember, so I was in the University of Nigeria, the Enugu campus at the time, and I would get up early in the morning because it wasn't like, you don't even want to be seen running necessarily, and I would get up early in the morning about 3 to 4 times a week, and I'd probably run, I think, maybe 30 minutes. And there were a handful of people who were out there running as well. And I would just run from my hostel to the campus gate and back, and do a few laps of that for about 30 minutes. But it wasn't popular. And I remember, even the few years after that, I continued to run. Even for youth service, I was in Katsina. And then that was like in the north, very different environment. But I buddied up with a very close friend of mine, who is still my very close friend, a guy. And we would run together. So you had to be more creative, I feel, in Nigeria at that time, if you wanted to do something like that, because there weren't many people doing it and the environment's not really built to support that kind of activity.
Yeah. Another thing back home, I feel like women's body, like, have always been under scrutiny for a long time. And growing up, I felt like the bigger or the chunkier you were, the more preferable you were to men, right? It wasn't until recently, like Lekpa, being so skinny and slim became a thing. Before it was like, if you have body, that's when you're living a good life. So
but it kind of also speaks to like how you shouldn't do things for people, because society changes, like expectations
that's
change.
A
like in the past, right? People will go to fattening rooms before they got married just to be more attractive to their spouses. Now it's trending the other. It's the reverse.
You lose weight for your wedding.
Are losing weight for their wedding, right? So it tells you that if you try to go with the trend, then you're just doing yourself a disservice, because it will always change, right?
That's
so
true.
you do it for yourself. If you want to change something about yourself, then you're doing it for yourself. If you want to stick with what you have, you're doing it for yourself, basically. That's true. I just wanted to try out that.
Yeah, that's actually good. I like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I know you talked about your fitness journey. So like, can you share like baby steps that you took? I know it didn't start in one day. Like Rome wasn't built in one day. Like now, and I know that you are running marathons, but like, how did it start? What were those baby steps? Like, share with us.
Absolutely. So like I mentioned, it was, and they really were baby steps. So running a few times a week. I also at that time really tackled my diet, I have to say, especially from, a weight loss perspective. Running, I know now, running can only get you so far. But I also tackled my diet and really learned that incremental steps are the way to go, right? They're just easier to sustain and adjust to, so originally, you know, there are certain things you can just cut out. Like I cut out soda and sweets, and I tried not to eat fried foods. But then, you know, you think of, the carbs that you eat, and they're so hard for some of us at least to cut down. And so I still remember going down my slices of bread. Like, I won't tell you where I started, but I kept taking one slice out and adjusting. And I got to the point where, I could have 2 slices of bread and feel
fine,
more than content. Yeah. So it's the baby steps, but it's also the consistency, I think, is a big one, and being able to just stick to it until it becomes a habit. I think that's something that helped me. It took me a very long time to see any results with regards to weight loss, but the benefit of that is by the time I started seeing results, I had done it for such a long time, almost 6 months, that it had become habit, right? So I was able to just keep doing it. And, you know, I pretty much, I can say I've never stopped. There've been seasons in my life when I've not, you know, run or paid attention to fitness for a variety of reasons, you know, where I live, the nature of my job, having kids, whatever. But it's something that I've always come back to because it's just become a normal thing for my routine.
Yeah. It's very healthy, right?
That's good. Yeah. When you brought in nutrition into it. So a lot of times when people think of Fit Farm or fitness, it's exercise. But you're letting us know it's not just exercise, but nutrition, even how much you eat, like your calorie intake, how often you eat, maybe also plays in.
Absolutely. And I'm not a nutrition expert by any stretch, and I don't have any, you know, prescriptions, but nutrition is a big part of overall wellness and is a big part of fitness, because at the end, fitness is about your body, right? It's about your body, your physical body, and even your mental body. And nutrition, food is your fuel, right? Food is your fuel. So you have to also learn, as you're working on being active, how do you fuel your body, you know, appropriately? You don't want to overfuel your body, but you also don't want to, you know, not take enough nourishment to keep you going.
That's good.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that, because I know there's like a lot of like misconceptions. People feel like if you're losing weight, trying to lose weight, you're starving yourself and you're depriving yourself of like carbs. You're not eating any carbs. You're just cutting down like a full class of food. And just from experience and with like nutritionists, they tell you that it's not sustainable to just deprive yourself that way and to just cut down one class of food, just like, because you need carbs for energy. You just need to restrict or reduce the portion of what you're taking. So I know for some people, like, portion control is like what is sustainable, because cutting down like a class of food for many people is not really I
agree with you, because I was on ketogenic diet for like 1.5 months, and then I fell off the bandwagon so bad that for the next 2 weeks I was eating McDonald's every day. I had to eat those carbs. My body was in withdrawal. Oh my God.
I know. And I think you know, it's about moderation, but it's also, what I've learned is you focus on what is good for you. You know, many times we're thinking of, what do we take out? What do we not eat? But it's also helpful to think of, what should I eat? Right. And then you prioritize those things. And then by doing that, you're you know, reducing the things that you shouldn't. You know, so you're prioritizing, like, protein is important in your diet. Fiber is important, you know, in your diet. So if you're prioritizing those things and you're trying to make sure that, I want to be getting sufficient amounts of this. And you know, the other things are kind of accessories, but because you've put those ones first, then the ones that you should reduce will naturally reduce. So it's good to not just think of, you know, what do I take off? There are stuff that we really should add and prioritize.
And then when you add those things, your plate is fuller. Then there's no room for the other things that you shouldn't have. Rather than thinking of cutting back, let's add the good stuff rather than
So you know, for someone who hasn't nutrition, it's hard, that fitness journey, because
it's hard.
Like, because you know, when you want to start, so you think of all the things, like, God, so I will stop eating chocolates, I'll stop eating cakes, I'll stop.
So that's the
oh my God, like how, like it's almost like putting a knife, you know, like just, you know, I don't want to use graphic words, but how can someone start and to just move on to the next question, what is your routine, like your daily routine, exercise-wise, nutrition-wise? I hear a lot about intermittent fasting. Is this something you do, or and is it okay to eat some sweets? Like, what's effective?
So again, I'll say I'm not the expert in nutrition, but I think I've learned a few things along the way. So really, my goal is to be active and to be well nourished. Like those are just like my baseline goals. And so my routine, on a normal week, I would run about 4 miles, maybe 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week. I would run about 4 miles.
4 miles every day.
Yes, each time. So I would run that, and I would most weeks do one long run, right, which could be like 8 to 10 miles. Now, I consider myself a runner. That's not the only way to be active. Walking is huge. Cycling, swimming, dancing. Like there's so many things that you can do to be active. So I'm just talking about running because that's what I do. Something else that I've, added to my exercise routine is strengthening exercises, which they really are important, especially as we get older, to have strong bones, to build muscle, and to fight against, frailty, and just improve the quality of your life. So I do that maybe 4 to 5 times a week for about half an hour is what my routine looks like. And then really for food is one of those ones where
sorry, I need to call you short. So the way you just said this thing, like you run 4 miles 3 to 4 times and run one long,
is to be active.
Where do you fit that in your day? And how many hours or minutes does it take you each time?
So, great question. For me, the best time to run is early in the morning.
Yeah.
So I wake up most mornings at 5 a.m. I have my quiet time till about 5:45 or 6 a.m. And I run either from 6 or 6:15 a.m. And that's when I run. So I run between 6 and 7. Usually it takes me about 40, 45, 50 minutes to do my run.
The 4 miles?
Yes, maybe. To do the 4 miles. So just say like 50 minutes. And then so before 7 o'clock, all those routines are kind of out of the way.
Great.
And then I get into preparing for work, kids for school. So early in the morning is what works best for me, which means you have to go to bed early.
Right.
I was going to
right. Yeah. Which means you have to go to bed early, and that's something that I'm doing better at. I'm trying to go to bed at 10 so that I have 7 hours of sleep and I'm able to get up early in the morning. Yeah. So time-wise, that's really how.
So was that always that even when your kids were younger? Because I know they're older now.
Yeah. No, it's not always been that. I mean, at different stages of my life, I've run at different times. There are times when I've run at the end of the day. Okay. There are times when I've tried to run in the middle of the day. But I think where I am right now at life, early in the morning. And I'm not a morning person. Like I really am not. But that's the time that makes the most sense given everything else going on in my life. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, continue with the nutrition.
No, the strength training. Sorry, the nutrition is very good, but strength training, I know that for me, it was like a new thing for me because I was like, what do I have to do? Because when I get strength training, all I'm thinking is that you're trying to build muscle. You're going to be Hokanga, and that's how I'm thinking about. And then it took like a gym instructor to like say, no, you actually, and as women, especially as you get older, you're losing, when you get into like menopause, you're losing estrogen, you need to strength train. Yeah, like you really is necessary. Like as in, I can't even like overemphasize it. But what I'm saying is that it's something that is new for me, is new for everyone. It's not just about building muscles or about like trying to be fit. It also just helps you in general with your body and like your immunity when you strength train.
Very much.
Your muscles protect your bones. So you need to like exercise them to be able to make your bones stronger and guard them, protect more.
Yeah. So,
that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's strength training. It's also relatively new to me. But I'm learning a lot more about it and taking it more seriously. But diet, I just prioritize proteins and fiber. That's really what I do. I prioritize proteins and fiber. Most mornings I'll have a bowl of oatmeal and I've learned to put peanut butter in my oatmeal, which I never used to
Yo,
do. But it's
how does
actually very nice. My sister was the one who told me about it first. I was just like, ew, that doesn't sound
So wait, how
good.
does it? So do you put milk in the oatmeal as well?
Yeah, you just make your oatmeal and then you put, a couple of, when it's done, when it's ready, you put a couple spoons of peanut butter in it.
But because it's hot, the heat will melt the peanut butter.
So it's just gonna blend in. It's really nice.
God.
You should try
about
it.
the protein.
And the reason I put it in was for protein, but it's actually nice.
Really?
I didn't know I would like it. It's actually nice.
The one I tried that I think like I've been trying is yogurt and actually peanut butter. Mix it together.
Yogurt and peanut. Wow, interesting.
Because
that
yogurt
one.
has like 15 grams of protein and like peanut butter. So they both have protein. So like just
So up to I think
And that will
prioritizing
fill you. Protein fills you, right?
protein fills you. Oatmeal has fiber. Other mornings, some mornings I actually would eat eggs, with I may eat it with or without something, but the bottom line is I'm really prioritizing protein. I eat a lot of meat, probably more meat than I should, but I eat fish, I eat chicken, I love beef, so I prioritize those in my meals. And then almost every week I'll make like a bowl of salad and put in my fridge, which I'll eat over, a number of days. And so just making sure that I have lots of vegetables, like salad is my go-to for vegetables. My kids love broccoli. Like that's the one vegetable that they actually like. So I almost always have broccoli. So then everything else is just, I don't eat a lot of rice. I don't eat a lot of pasta, but I don't miss them because I'm really eating a lot already. So that's generally what I do with my diet. And then when you eat all those things, you have fat, which is actually important for you to have. But peanuts contain fat.
That's true.
If you stir fry your vegetables, there's fat. So that's generally the rule that I follow for diet. I don't do anything super dramatic.
Wow.
Great. Any like cheat days? Like today now I just want to have a chocolate. I tried this week. Zuki. Oh my goodness. I tried. Let me just have a chocolate.
I have to share this. So thinking about cheat days, and this applies to diet, also applies to exercise. I am pre-diabetic, so I have elevated blood sugar. I'm not diabetic yet, but I'm at risk. And there was a time I was just so frustrated because I felt like I'm so active, I'm so healthy. Why am I, pre-diabetic? And what I found is that back to cheat days, I will say things like, okay, I will only. There are certain days I just if I go out, I'll just eat what I want. If I go to work. You know how it is at work sometimes. There are cookies, there are whatever. I would just be like, oh, but this is not like my normal. But what I was finding out is that there are many of those cheat days. Like they just start adding up. And I realized that even though I wasn't making those things myself, I ended up, they were becoming my normal. And so I've had to switch really and think of, yes, I think of cheat days, but I think about them differently. And I have to really be intentional and not just assume, okay, it's a random cookie at work, it's a random going out. So now when I go out, I try to be healthy. When I go out, I actually try to order healthy stuff like my proteins and my vegetables, and then occasionally, yes, I don't have cake every birthday party I go to because it turns out there are lots of parties. So if you just say, only at the party, so it adds up. And so I think it's in the daily. That's my mantra. It's in the daily decisions, whether you're at home or you're at work or you're going out, your daily decisions have to be good about being active, about eating well. And then, there'll always be cheat days here and there, but consistency is key.
Okay. So have there been times that you kind of struggled with this fitness routine, and what motivated you in those times? Like, when you felt like giving up, oh my God, this is too hard. Why do I'm not seeing any result? Because I know that's a lot of people's like frustration when we start out. I'm not seeing any results yet. I keep going to the gym, I'm eating right. So
absolutely. And yes, I've had my, my share of, challenges and discouragements. When I started running, like I said, it took me a while And maybe it's just my body type. I've seen people who start running and within a couple of weeks, it's like you can see clear differences. That wasn't me. It took me many, many months. And what was even funny, while you're still doing it, people say, are you adding weight? I'm like, okay, this is like the worst, and so I think what kept me going at that time was I really just believed the science. Like I believed that if you burn more calories, you consume less calories, and then at the end of the day, it's going to pan out. And so I just stuck to it. So that was how I overcame that. I've talked about like my pre-diabetes. Like when I discovered I was pre-diabetic, I was very discouraged. I felt like, oh, it's not fair. Yeah. I'm very active, more active than most people I know. Why me? Blah, blah, blah. But I had to just tell myself the truth. I mean, first of all, there are things I can't control. I'm probably genetically predisposed to elevated blood sugar, so that I can't control. And the truth is, even if the prediabetes is not going away, like it hasn't gone away, I'm still better off being active than not. So who am I punishing if I say, well, I'm mad, I'm pre-diabetic, and I stop being active? I'm just putting myself in a worse situation. But honestly, I think for me, the biggest motivations are I found reasons to run. Like I found many, many, many reasons to run. And I'll use COVID as an example. During COVID, when everything shut down, I had more time on my hands. So I was just running more. And because during COVID, there was a lot of disease and death, and that was all we were hearing and seeing. I mean, I'm in healthcare, and at that time, I was actually working in a healthcare setting. And so when I would go out and run, I would just be reminded, wow, Ifeoma, you are healthy. The only reason you can be here is because you are healthy. So running was no longer, oh, I'm trying to achieve this health status. It was more like, I'm celebrating the health that I do have, right? And then it was also during COVID, there was all the racial tension. There was the Ahmaud Arbery, I think, who died in Georgia. And then I just realized the things I was taking for granted. I'm like, I run out, I feel safe, I don't worry about all these things. And so running just became this gratitude exercise. And I started looking forward to running. So I found things like that have kept me running. During COVID, I also met I call it my running family. This group of amazing women from very diverse backgrounds. And, they really have enriched my life. When we run together, I always say we solve world peace because we have the best conversations. And so these are just the reasons, I've been able to help some friends go from couch to 10K and just see them
couch to 10K.
Yeah, see them achieve their goals. And so I just have more and more reasons to run. And that's where my motivation comes from. So weight loss is no longer a thing. And I don't even get that benefit anymore from running. But I look forward to running now.
I was going to ask you. So I know you mentioned that 30 to 40 pounds in secondary school. So after you started that journey of fitness, up until now, you've been able to control your weight. You haven't been above
no. So I probably was about maybe the size I am when I was having, like when I gained the 30, 40 pounds back in college. I probably was about the size that I am now. And then I lost a lot of weight. But over the years, I have added, I've definitely added weight. So I've regained, just almost like going back to where I started from.
Okay, sorry. So the picture in my head was like maybe you on the bigger side.
No, I just think
but not necessary. Okay.
But I was very lanky. Like I was what you would say, the skinny, person. And then I just gained all of this weight. Yes. And of course I was much younger then. So if you think if this size at that age is a lot, right? It's a lot. And so I've definitely gained weight. And especially the past few years, I think, like I said, it's a stage of life where like we're gaining weight. But and I can't stress this enough. If weight loss is someone's goal, that's good. Whatever gets you going, do it. But it's no longer a goal for me. The J-Lo ship has sailed, the Beyonce ship, like all those ships have sailed. Yeah. And those are not my reasons for running.
It's a lifestyle
anymore.
now.
Yeah. Now it's about being healthy, being fit. Yeah.
So I also run like you, but I'm not your level of runner. I just do treadmill runs. But I know one of the benefits I get from running is like I feel very clear-headed. Like because is it oxytocin that's released?
Yes.
One of those hormones,
yes.
So I'm not a coffee drinker in the morning. So when my colleagues are like having their first coffee in the morning, I'm out there running so that I can gain that, that juice to be able to move on. So you mentioned some benefits, but what are the other additional benefits there is with like?
Yeah, I think mental wellness is a big one. There is enough evidence out there that shows that being physically active, and not just running, being physically active is good for your mental health. It's good for your mental health. Many of us, consciously or unconsciously, we turn to unhealthy things to deal with stresses in our lives. We turn to food. Sometimes we get depressed, and running or being active is protective. It's something you can actually do. When you're sad, you can actually go take a walk, and it can make you clear your head, feel better. Many chronic conditions that are kept at bay when we are active. And being active is something that also you can use to build community, especially when you can find people to do it with you. And all those things just enrich your life and improve your overall wellness.
That's true. You talked about being pre-diabetic. I think you touched on a good point because it's also important for us to go to the hospital, check ourselves, do those annual checks, because at least and you're consistently maintaining. So there are lots of people out there who probably don't even know their physical health condition. So what kind of advice would you probably have for them, whether you're healthy now or whatever? Just how do you keep going?
I think especially for women and especially for Black women, the first advice I would give is you just have to find a reason to prioritize your health. It's, we as women, we're always so busy, working, kids, parents, all important stuff, right? And we always come last. I mean, you see women who will schedule doctor's visits for their kids without fail, and they won't schedule their own, right? So the important thing is you just have to find a way to remember that you are important and you need to prioritize your health. You need to prioritize your health. The other piece of advice really is find what works for your situation, right? You may be in a situation where you have a good built environment. You can go out and run or walk. Great. You may have access to a gym. Go there. You may not have any of those things for whatever reason. These days, there are just so many free resources on YouTube. There are all these fitness apps, like information overload. There is so much information and so much you can do in your room, in your space, that is just as beneficial as being outside and running. So find something that works for the reality of your situation and start small. Start small. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Start small. If it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes get moving, do it. I love the Nike slogan. Just do it. That thing changed my life. It changed my life. Like, quit talking about it. Quit making excuses. Just do it already. Right? It's cold. Get a jacket. It's raining. Get a rain jacket. Like, stop making excuses. Just do it already. And, I think very importantly is time. I want to talk about time because time is a big barrier for many people. Exercise and fitness, is a time commitment. And what I'll say is this: many of us myself included, we spend a lot of time on social media, binging on Netflix. Many of us are overcommitted. We spend a ton of time in church, kids' activities. We have our kids enrolled in like a dozen things. Something has got to give. Something has got to give. And it goes back to really prioritizing your health and just facing that reality. You only have one body. Nobody's going to take care of it for you. You're going to take care of it yourself, and you have to prioritize it. And something has got to give.
I like that.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, I really like it, because I know that when I first started, I was always, as a mom of two, very busy. For me, I looked back and I was like, what can I take away that will make me go to the gym, have time to go to the gym? And I was like, okay, maybe I'll just sacrifice 30 minutes of my sleep and get up earlier, 30 minutes earlier, and go to bed 30 minutes earlier, right?
Yeah.
So I think, like you said, it's a sacrifice. Just when you make it a priority, you should be able to keep to it. And very, very guilty of it as a mom. We put ourselves last, but I've learned that you have to prioritize. You have to make the time. We can give up a lot of things for our kids. Why can't we give it up for our own self?
Yeah.
Like, why can't we make the sacrifice for our own self? Like, if you
Absolutely.
sleep, you have to give up. If
Just
it's
do it.
$20 to get a gym membership, let's just do it, right? It's very, very important. And especially as women, as we go older, we talked about that. But
Awesome.
just want to...
Yeah. So final question, or maybe last two questions.
Yeah.
So what has been your greatest achievement when it comes to, like fitness? Because you don't know what you have. Like you started this when I keep going back to second, when you were young. So for you, it's a lifestyle. It's not no big deal. But for someone who is that mom who has had her kids and then she's in her 40s or 50s, like, what advice? So
I think
what has been your greatest achievement in this fitness journey, and also what projects are you working on?
Greatest achievement, two sides to it very quickly. I think, some of the hardest things I've done like 2 marathons. I've run several half marathons. And when you go and run a marathon, for me, I'm always amazed at the people there. You see people of all ages, of all sizes. You just see this broad variety of people. Many people running for the first time. They could even be in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s. So it's never too late to start. It's never too late to start. And for me, the greatest achievement is not even the marathons, honestly. The greatest achievement is the fact that I can say with some confidence that being active has become a lifestyle for me. To me, that is the greatest achievement, is that I know I will continue to be active as long as God gives me good health and strength. And projects, I really have been paying more attention to staying hydrated, believe it or not. Like simple things, just drinking water well, sleeping well. Those are my big projects now, and I want to get better at them.
Simple projects.
Yeah, simple projects. But I also look forward to, doing some destination runs in the future, traveling to new places and then joining a race there. Yeah, I look forward to doing that. Yeah,
maybe one day we'll see you on TV.
Yes.
That'll be fun.
Wow, thank you so much. Like I honestly, you have to come back. No, honestly, I feel like there's so much more I want to get from you, draw from you. Yeah. You have to come back.
This has been great.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thanks for sharing your life with us, your fitness journey. You've inspired us. And I believe you've inspired our listeners as well.
Very inspired.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to run to the gym.
Yes. I need to do my first marathon.
Yes, first marathon. Me too.
That's good. Wow. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. We appreciate you. We appreciate your support, and come back for more amazing content. And if you want to see Ifeoma back, please let us know in the comment section. Yes. If you want to see her back, let us know by the number of views we get on this video. All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thanks, Ifeoma.
Thank you.
Thanks all for coming.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.